Welcome to PC Chess Club, Season 1, Episode 10. And we brought back the Jesus picture that everybody likes and requests. We thought that was appropriate and fitting. And this is the message board of the week. Christian living, God looks more where men look the least, at the heart. Puzzle of the week for the little kids. We try to bring something for little kids that show up. It's a 100-piece puzzle with bunny rabbits. And this is the featured game of the week. It's called Think Blot. It's from the inventors of Pictionary. What can you spot in a blot? This is what it looks like. Looks like a lot of fun. People having a lot of fun trying that. It's just to be creative and try to think outside the box. We didn't bring a featured poster, short on time, so we're just going to put the world map up. This week is just the world map.
Ben, you gonna sing something?
You can zoom in and you can see part of Europe where they have a lot of chess. And you might spot Norway, where Magnus Carlsen, world champion, is from. This is the little featured puzzle of the week, 3D puzzle. And there's Perplexus again. Come on down to the salvage yard sometime and try Perplexus. See how patient you are and how coordinated you are. We'll go ahead and open with the meditation of the week. Okay, this week's meditation is about courage. It is called Finding Your Strengths, Courage. I'll go ahead and zoom in on that so you guys can see on YouTube. Okay, it says daring to act. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Seneca. 4 BC to 65. And there is a second one. We'll give you a second one this week, which is called Moving Through Darkness. Daring to Act is number 192. Moving Through Darkness. This is called Finding Your Strengths, Courage. Moving through darkness. During times of darkness in our lives, we often feel lost and afraid. To find a way through these feelings, imagine that you are running through a dark forest. You pause and take several deep breaths. As you do so, you notice a clearing ahead. You enter the clearing and rest there for a moment. Then you spot a path leading out of the clearing. You follow the path until finally you emerge into the sunlight. Moving Through Darkness. That one, I guess, author unknown. It doesn't have an author. This is a preview on those two books that I promised in an earlier video. Make Your Child a Straight A Student. The A+ program guarantees better grades. We'll zoom in on this. It says some parents let their children grow up like weeds, assuming that all learning is automatic, that children will get what they need, and that how they turn out is how they turn out. Some parents go to the other extreme and get over-involved, so the child has no space for privacy and independent growth. Still, other parents run in from the sidelines whenever crises crop up, sort of like a Kelly girl problem solver. The facts are this: formal schooling amounts to only about 13% of your child's waking hours in the first 18 years of life. That leaves 87% of your child's time under your parental influence. Recent University of Illinois report shows that as much as 1/2 the difference in student grades and test scores is directly attributable to parent participation in learning-related activities at home. And this is a preview of what it looks like. And then here's the other one about recall and memory. We use a lot of these memory books at PC Chess Club because we've got tons and tons of games that we have to remember the moves from. Current world champion Magnus Carlsen has memorized move by move, verbatim, 10,000 games of chess. He can quote back every move from 10,000 games of chess. Magnus has become world champion because of a phenomenal memory. Some of the openings that we play have a lot of branches. They have over 24 branches, and they go out to the first 35 to 38 moves deep. That means that we've already memorized the first 35 moves of the game. We know the best moves there are, and if you play second best moves, we're going to snap on it. Checkmate them real quick. It says a good memory is not a gift but a reward. Use it the right way and it will repay you. Tapping your hidden memory power. Well, let's see what this one has to say. Let's take a look at it. Quick look here.
And I want my life to be inspired by all you bring.
There you go.
For this, and I must die.
We'll go ahead and zoom in on that so you can see it better, YouTube. For all those viewers out on YouTube.
Isn't there some way I can say?
We'll take a look at what those 6 guiding principles are. Give you a sneak peek.
Isn't there somehow you can take this cup?
And that is a fact, what it said about short and long-term memory. We had that in a college psychology class. They call it chunking. Your short-term memory, you take large chunks of information.
My God, it's awfully hard to say goodbye to you. Hold me close as I say goodbye to me. Let my heart know you're all I need. I'll stay right here on my knees until I
This one down at the bottom, chapter 7, Faces, Places, and Names. There's another book that we have at PC Chess Club. It's called The Memory Book by Harry Lorraine and Jerry Lucas. Harry Lorraine's a memory specialist, and he goes around to big stadiums full of people. They call out 500 people, they point them out, put them on the big Trinitron, and they show them one time, just a glimpse. They show their face and their full name, and Harry hears it one time, and he can repeat back all 500 people at random. That means they can just go through the crowd, 500 people at random, and just pick a number and say, who was number 328? He'll tell you what they look like, hair color, details on their face, full name. Not just, oh, it was Sue or John or whatever. He'll give you the full name. Trained memory is different than I think I remember.
yourself for me close as I say goodbye to you. Let my
Now there are some unscrupulous uses for memories. Where you see chapter 9 there, it says playing cards, number or spot cards, keywords. If you get caught in Vegas, you might lose your fingers if they catch you counting cards. It might be legal, but if you go in there and try to hustle the casino and you start counting cards, they're gonna find you out in the desert somewhere.
My love for you, so take whatever's left of me. I sacrifice it all to thee.
Here's the 6 guiding principles of a good memory. Okay, try this exercise. Look at the 12 words listed in the box to the right, counting multiple word items as single entries, and allow yourself just 2 minutes to memorize them in the order. Repeat, in the exact order they occur. Do not continue reading until you have tried this assignment. Gun, enough, faced, apostles, letter word, way, Apollo, up on ice, ring, innings, take, toes. And Harry Lorraine's quoted there. Mind power is a trick, and you can learn that trick. And they say right here, now without referring back to the previous page, answer all the following if you can. Recite that list of 12 words backwards from memory. Which was the 3rd word up from the bottom of the list? Which word appeared after the word apostles? Name the 11th word. Which word came before strikes? Name every alternate word starting with enough. Now, here's how they can see how they can now be rearranged. Way, as in one-way street. Faced, a two-faced deceitful person. Ring, a 3-ring circus. Letter word, 4-letter word. Take 5, rest for a while. Gun, 6 gun. Colt, 45 revolver. Up on ice, 7-Up, the soft drink on ice. Is enough, 8 is enough, the old TV program. Innings, 9 innings in a ball game. Toes, 10 toes on one's toes. Apollo 11, the moon launch. Apostles, 12 apostles. Please do not think I've tricked you into making you try to learn one list, then changing the order for no good reason. That would be unfair. There is a crucial point to be made by showing you 2 different lists. Memory improves remarkably if you can spot a pattern and sort out whatever must be learned. That's what tonight's going to be about chess. It's going to be about patterns. Here's the code word on memory. 6 guiding principles. Minutes, not seconds, allow adequate time. E for evaluate, take careful stock. M, make an effort, be actively involved. O, order the data, rearrange it to make sense. R, reinforce, review and repeatedly use. And Y, curiosity, become intrigued. That's your code word for memory. 6 guiding principles. We don't have time to go into it. We're going to go ahead and get on with the chess now. This is from Chess, 5,334 Problems, Combinations, and Games by Laszlo Polgar. This is problem 745, and I'll show you the common denominator here. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and change the disc and get started. Now, there's a significant reason why we're doing this. This is the difference between PC Chess Club and a rival chess club called Joplin Chess Club. That's where we send the people that don't know how to play chess. Joke of the week. But onto a more serious note, take a look at this. I'll go ahead and zoom in on it for you so you can see it. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is called a rolling barrier. I'll go ahead and point that out in the video. Let me zoom in on it so we'll make it big enough you can see it. this is very significant, so pay attention. Take a look right here. You see this rook right here. See that rook? Okay. Now, if you didn't have this bishop, in the way, you could see, you could take this queen right here and you could bring it right down here to the corner, and you'll see the common pattern, how they're boxed in, and you should be able to see that. Now, just look for that right there, that bishop to be moved out of the way, off the line, okay? And then just pretend this bishop is gone, it's not there. If this was an empty square, like this, if it was like that and there was no piece there, somebody said, checkmate in 1. Can you move the queen down to H1? Well, yeah, you would see it if you were trained for it, and if you pay attention when you're studying chess, you could see if the board's like that, the queen goes down, and it's called a rolling barrier. I'll show you that in Pandolfini's Endgame. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff memorized, like whole sections out of chess books, a lot of puzzles, like hundreds and hundreds of chess puzzles. Most all of Pandolfini Endgame is memorized. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. Yeah, there's only 2 here. Queen and rook roll, which is right here. But this one, the rolling barrier, take a look at that. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that so you get a better shot on that. Anybody see that pattern, how the queen and rook are together? A3 for the queen and B4 for the rook. And then the next move should be queen to A5. Let's take a look at it. Yep, right there. Queen to A5. There's your moves. And you can see, we'll have to pull it back a little bit in order to read it.
You make me happy to be.
In this more typical queen and rook roll, the 2 major pieces stand on adjacent files and give alternate checks to drive black's king to the board's edge. The rook's barrier is upheld against diagonal attack by the queen. Finally, the major pieces guard consecutive outside rows, preventing escape and mating. And you can see that first move at the bottom where it says queen A5. Tell me if that looks very similar to the puzzle 745, the pattern. We call that pattern recognition. You'll see that. We'll zoom in on that for you. You'll see here, this queen goes up to here. Now let's flip this around and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you move this, if you pretend this was G2, the rook that was sitting on G2, and you take this queen and pretend that was H1, move that king over to here, then you'll see what I'm talking about. Or you could see, move that up a little bit. You can see if you use your mind, you have to visualize it. If you pull this rook down to here to G2, you pull this king over here to F1, then you'll see this queen coming down here, just like that, on that line. And the main deal is that you see this pattern, just like that. Now take a look again at 745 and see how similar it is. And this is why we just chuckled and laughed when somebody named Martin from Rival Chess Club actually missed that, which is actually a mate in 1, and I'll show you why. That's a checkmate in 1. Now this is a guy, mind you, that said he had played chess for 20 years. So I hope if you've played chess for 20 years, you'll be able to spot a mate in 1 or even a mate in 2. And here's why. Simple pattern. Remember that. It was called a rolling barrier. Right there. 745. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Center it. Now, going back to the same one, if you get that bishop out of the way, and you'll see right there on F1, the king, see that rook on G2. If you had this piece out of the way, like this, like in the earlier segment, pretend you don't even see that bishop. You just move it out of the way, move it somewhere. Then you can see the breakdown, how this queen, this line is clear. It's called a file. This vertical column is called a file. This is the H file. You start from A through H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, from H4, it's a straight shot down to H1, and that's mate, checkmate. That's why your first move, and I'll show you in the book, the first move is bishop C8. From here, all the way to here. And we did this in an earlier video, because if the bishop takes this right here, if the bishop takes this rook, then when your bishop is sitting here, bam, straight shot on the queen, checkmate. Because your bishop has this and this, your queen has that spot right there. So anything they do, if the knight comes over to here, when the bishop goes up, knight comes over, bam, queen goes here. And you got here and here, either way, checkmate. Any move they make. Now let's look in the back, 745, let's look up the answer, verify it. And PC Chess Club will always verify everything for you. Don't just take our word for it, we'll show you. We'll pull up 745, so you know nobody's messing with you, and you know that is indeed the move. 745. And we'll go ahead and zoom in on that in case there's somebody out there that can't see it, or hey, it's not big enough, I can't see it. You can see clear right there, very clearly. Problem 745, solutions, upper left corner. It says bishop C8, first move. And that's why I was so puzzled, because after he sent me that email, which I showed everybody in the videos and on chess.com, he looked in the back and he saw the first move was bishop to C8. How could he miss the other moves? So this is the pattern recognition. Here's what I'm talking about from Secrets of Minor Piece Endings by John Nunn. These are patterns, okay? If you're gonna play at my level, you're gonna play at a Grandmaster level, you're gonna have to know patterns. And we'll also get into what is a reciprocal Zugzwang. That is very important to know. If you don't know what reciprocal Zugzwang is, I'll explain it to you and then maybe you'll know. Okay, here's the first one. Take a look at this pattern table. Am I worried about rival chess clubs memorizing this pattern, this table? Not at all. They don't have the book, so memorizing the table is not going to do them any good. And besides, they could buy the book on Amazon or eBay or any number of different websites. So yeah, they can get the book, but like I said, with memory, we're not worried about what they can get or get a hold of. It's what they can remember. And that's why we say only the best at PC Chess Club. Now, take a look at this, called reciprocal Zugzwangs. Now, this is very important. So listen up, catch what you can, pay attention. And this also go out to Brian out there. If you're watching this, Brian, catch what you can and look at the significance. I'll point this out for you. You look here on the 6th rank, B, 492. See that? Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Now, maybe people on YouTube can see this a little better. Now, right there, see that chart? Then you see where the danger areas are. Your 2 key areas significant in knight and pawn versus knight are right here, B and C. One of your center, your bishop or knight files are significant, and people have asked me as well as asked John Nunn, why don't you have E, F, G, and H? That's because it's a mirror image on the other side. You don't need that. Just follow the book. Everything on A, on this row, is your rook file. And you can see it's not really significant until you actually hit the 5th rank. When you hit the 5th rank, then it becomes significant for rook pawns. But take a look at the significance here, right here. On the 5th rank, 257. You might have to enlarge this on your monitor to be able to see these little details. But 257 is significant, and then when you get up to the 7th rank, it's not as significant. And then look here on the knight file, 279 on the 7th rank and on the 5th rank. It spikes right there on the 6th rank. Same thing here. But it's actually more critical on the 7th than it is on the 5th if you're on a bishop file. But look over here, on a knight file, you're exactly tied, 279, 279. Exactly the same. And you'll see another thing to take notice of too. When you get near the center files, right here, 131 on the 5th and 185 on the 7th, they spike on the 6th rank. On that 6th row, they seem to spike, but look over here on the rook file. They don't spike except right here on the 5th row, and then they start going downhill from there. But right here, knight and bishop files are the key areas on the 6th rank. Those are the key areas. And we'll bring this up so you can see that. You can see right there in the corner. I don't know, we'll try to zoom in on that for you so you can see it. It's kind of hard to see. Can you see that there? Yeah, where it says knight and pawn against knight. And then take a look at another one. See if we can get through this in time before the battery dies. Here's a good one to point out. Against a bishop, look how the book is broke down. Right here. A, B, C, or D. Every one of these, and then John Nunn actually breaks them down, as you've seen in the chart, rank by rank. So it's one, you have to know what file the pawn is on, and then you've got to know exactly where it's at. Is it on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th row? If you don't know that, then you're not going to be playing at my league. You're not going to be playing at a Grandmaster League. You're going to be playing, I don't know where you're going to be playing. You're going to be playing some low-level players. Yeah, low-level players. You're not going to be playing us. You're not going to be playing Grandmasters. Now, here's the chart on knight and pawn versus bishop. Okay. So, whoops, let's bring this up. You can see right there. Okay. Now, this will become significant here in a minute. We're going to have to bring this down a little bit, or we're not going to be able to fit the whole chart in. No, we'll have to bring it down a little bit more. A little bit more. No, a little bit more. Okay, we should be able to get it all in now. Now, significant here is actually, I would say, to the 5th rank. Let me move this pencil out of the way. To your 5th rank, it doesn't really matter because your numbers don't really spike. And over here on the center, either D or E, one of your center files, you can see that it doesn't even spike on the 6th row. It barely spikes on the 7th. But look over here, and you'll see again, knight. But you see it's different than the last one that we did, knight against knight. It only hits one spike which is right here, which is a knight file, B file. It only hits one. There's only one reciprocal Zugzwang in there. That's it.
Are you tired?
We're gonna have to change the disc. Take a break. Okay, I'm back. Let's go ahead and resume, pick up where we left off. Now, this is a breakdown, and I'm not one of the world's highest rated players. I'm only rated about 2,600 play and strength. 2,500 is Grandmaster, and for some odd reason right now I seem to, at least on all the tests, just seem to top out at 2,600. But I'm working on it. I'll try to get that play and strength or rating to increase more as I study more when time permits. I've got full-time college also. Okay, let's get back with this. Now, notice over here, okay, try to get this, I can point it out to you. There's only one spike, as I said before, 95. There's 95 reciprocal Zugzwangs. And when you get up on the 7th rank, right here, right there is significant because they're almost the same. One is 60, one's 59. But you'll notice if you had, like, say you had a pawn on the 6th rank and it was on a bishop file, where you put your piece is significant. I'll tell you why. Let me explain it to you. Here's why. Because there's 59. Hold on. Okay, something happened and the power cord came unplugged or something, but we took care of it. I've got 4 external hard drives on here and they run, I think I'm running about 6 terabytes right now, which is 6,000 gigabytes external storage. A lot of it's chess or chess related. Now here's the reason significant here. Okay, now if you're here 57, if you're on a bishop file and you're on the 6th rank, you put that pawn on the 6th rank. Okay, when you switch out and you put your piece on either side and then they trade and you recapture with a pawn, these are going to be almost the same. Right here you're going to hit 54 reciprocal Zugzwangs. You're going to hit 59, okay? But look at the difference. If you could get that over, okay, if you're down here, if you drop it down, here there's only 20, but it does become very significant where you put that piece at, because if you put it, if it's on a bishop file and you put it on a center file, they recapture, you recapture with a pawn. It's going to be easier to promote that pawn because you've only got 31 reciprocal Zugzwangs. But if you put it over towards the edge of the board thinking, well, they'll have to be sneaky to get to it, there's 95 reciprocal Zugzwangs. Shortcut, short version at my level, 2,600 Grandmaster strength, it means 95 is a lot more ways to screw it up than 31. And that actually, if you bring it here to the 5th row, it actually plays into an old bit of wisdom in chess where they said capture towards the center. But if you move it up and you move it up to the 6th row and you put your piece on either side, you put it over here on the B file, or you put it on the D file, either a center file or a knight file, you're going to be almost the same odds. You go 57 and then you go 59, 57 and 54. But here would be significant, they won't tell you that in the book, that would be significant on the 5th row. You would want your pawn, if you're going to advance either pawn, you would want to advance, you'd actually want to advance a center pawn. If you had a choice between 2 connected pawns, you'd want to get the center pawns connected, bishop and queen or king file, because once you advance this pawn up, if you have to trade pieces and it goes up, all of these here are easier. In the center, they're the easiest, and over here, you're gonna spike. Now, if your opponent is a strong player, oops. Uh-oh, wrote in the book, not supposed to do that.
He was
I should use the eraser instead. Yeah, use the eraser. Hey, you won't mark up the book. But that right there is significant. And we use this a lot when we do blitz. When I set my record in chess and I played 90 moves in 20 seconds, a lot of that was what we call pattern recognition. So when you're playing 90 moves in 20 seconds, you need to know all of this. All of these patterns here. You need to know that table. We'll move on to the next one. This is bishop and pawn against bishop. We already covered knight and pawn against knight, or knight and pawn against bishop. Now let's take a look at the two bishops against each other. And you can see the difference in where your reciprocal zugzwangs are. Now, this one is significant. You're going to want to know this, okay? The first table is going to be, I think it's your opposite colored bishops. Yeah. Hold on, we're getting all bunched up here. Can't see anything, we're all bunched up. Okay, let me bring this over so you can get a good look at it. And pull this back. We're going to pull out, zoom out. Oh, too much. Okay, right there. Now, on here, your first table, I'll show you up here, we're not making this up. It says here, first table, list reciprocal zugzwangs with opposite colored bishops. Okay? And your second one gives the, well, that's a typo. It's not T-O-A-L-S, tolls. It's supposed to be totals for same colored bishops. Now look at the difference. You see a lot of zeros here, right here, on this B row or knight file. And then you see there's only one or two on a rook file. So on the outer edge, when they're opposite colored bishops, it's an easy shot. But look up here. On the fifth row, all the way across, is zero unless you hit the center. And that also becomes significant when you look at your center files, because take a look at the center files. I don't know if you can see that very well, but take a look at your center files and you'll see it spikes on a 6 on the 5th rank, and again it spikes on the 7th rank. But look at the drop. Look at the significance here. See if I can get this up here for you. Look at the significance here. On the 4th rank, 4th row, it's only 1. And then again, when you hit the 6th row, it's only 1. But for some odd reason, on the 5th row, in the center, it's going to spike higher than the others. In fact, it's the highest in the chart. But look what happens when we move down to the same colored bishops. Ah, there you go. And you'll see it's actually the same. Whether you have opposite colored bishops or you have the same colored bishops, right there, a 6, 5th row, right here, a 6, 5th row. But look at the difference right here. See how these are all zeros going all the way across 5th row? But look over here, look how they spike incredibly high. In fact, that's the highest one in the whole group, 16. It actually spikes this way, and this way. So where you would be concerned would be, actually it would be like the 4th row here. You would not want to put your piece over here on the knight file on the 5th row with a pawn covering it. You would want to put it more towards the center because you would have less reciprocal zugzwangs, unless you're playing for complications. If you're playing for complications, you need to reverse that. And then you need to hit all these ones that are the most reciprocal zugzwangs. But in general, just in general, you want to avoid high numbers on reciprocal zugzwangs. Take a look at this other one, bishop and pawn against a knight. We saw early on where it was a knight and pawn against a bishop. Now we're going to throw the pawn over to the bishop. We've done knight versus bishop, and at first the knight had the pawn, And then now we see when the bishop has the pawn. Try to get this over here and hit the high spots for you. Right here is a spike. Right here, 4th one, which tells me that if you can get past the 4th rank, okay, once you get past the 4th rank on a knight file, if you have a bishop and pawn, it all goes downhill. And look up here on the 6th row, over towards the edge. If you hit 6th and 7th, it's lower. See how it spikes and it goes higher till you get to the 5th rank? Then it starts going downhill. Same thing over here. It starts going downhill. And then look when we move towards the center, either a bishop or a center file. Either king or queen file, you're still going to hit high spots here on the 5th and 6th rank. Like, okay, say everybody's already advanced the pawn the first move to the 4th rank. They're within a range, except for the knight. They're near each other, 80, 85, 89. That's significant, okay? Just like these two are significant, 41 and 44. Now, 41 and 44 are significant, but when you look up here, a center file on the 5th and on the 6th rank, they spike. They're really high on reciprocal Zugzwangs. But down here, when you move away from the center, it goes like this. In the center, it's going to be your 5th and 6th row. And then when you move out towards the edge, it's going to be your 6th row, maybe just slightly less on the 5th row, but mainly your 6th row. Then you move over here, when you move to the knight file, B or G, you see how once you get past the 5th row, it's easy sailing? Most of your trouble is down here on the 4th row. Like, you would want to put it over here towards the edge if you had your pawn. If you had a choice, well, this is just if you had bishop and pawn against knight. So what I would do is I would say, if it came down to it and you had your bishop to sit somewhere and the knight captures the bishop and then your pawn retakes back, you would have more. Or where you have your pieces, you would have more if you have it on those squares. That's what it means. If you have a bishop on those squares, that's where you have the most reciprocal Zugzwangs. Let's take a look at what is a reciprocal Zugzwang, for those that don't know. We'll go ahead and look that up, and then I'll get you another definition on it. All right, this is according to the author, John Nunn. And a lot of people in chess are familiar with John Nunn. He's a well-known writer and grandmaster. He's a grandmaster over the board in tournaments, and he's also a grandmaster, I believe, in what's called composition, where you have to set up a chessboard, you have to make little chess problems. All right, let's zoom in on this so you can see it. That's about as far as we're going to be able to zoom in. Okay, right here, you start from right here. It says one special type of position deserves a more detailed explanation, namely the reciprocal Zugzwang. In a normal Zugzwang, it doesn't matter much who is to move, because the superior side usually has a waiting move with which he can pass if it's his turn to move. This is not so in a reciprocal Zugzwang, okay, which may be defined as a position in which whoever moves first has to weaken his position. In an ending such as bishop and pawn versus bishop, where only one side has winning chances, we may be even more precise. Assuming that white has the bishop and pawn, a reciprocal Zugzwang is a position in which black to play loses, but white to play can only draw. In other words, not only is black in Zugzwang, but if it is his turn to move, but white to play has no waiting move to maintain the Zugzwang. So he is also in Zugzwang if it is his turn to move. Reciprocal Zugzwang positions often have an importance And this is a key part. Often, oh, that's why y'all can't see that. This page isn't lined up. Often have an importance, quote, far out of proportion to their relatively small numbers. And let's take a look at another book for reciprocal Zugzwang definition.
Ain't no other thing like it. There's a name above all names.
This is called the Encyclopedia of Chess Problems, definitive book of themes and terms.
He's the first born from the dead, so play some son. Yeah, talk to me, son.
Alright, here it is, reciprocal Zugzwang. I'll zoom in on it for you. Okay, reciprocal Zugzwang is an endgame theme. The position would be favorable for each side if it were the opponent's turn to move. In a try, that's an endgame term and a composition term, white would end up being on the move. In the solution, he forces a position with black on the move. In logical direct mate problems, that's a type of checkmate problem. They're called direct mate problems. We don't have time to go into them right now, but in upcoming videos we'll cover that. In logical direct mate problems, the same position is reached in a try play. That's a term again in composition, try play. In a try play with white to move and in actual play with black to move. In each case, the obligation to move being detrimental. White, to avoid being on the move, makes a preparatory maneuver called a foreplan, or chooses the right plan called an option combination to lose a tempo.
Check your motivation. You ain't walking in love. Remember Jesus is the bullet
Here are the moves.
in your gospel gun. You've been dashing every day with everybody you meet, thinking you can drive them to the Savior's feet. And it ain't the kind of wisdom that comes down from above. Remember Jesus.
Go ahead and copy those moves down. Pause the video and copy them. And here's your puzzle. Called mutual Zugzwang. This is going to be a quick look on a table of computer database results for pawnless endings.
Eternity. Where will you be on eternity? Eternity. Eternity. Tell me where you gonna spend eternity. You don't have to face the question time here won't last forever. Eternity waits just beyond the grave. Oh, eternity, eternity. Tell me where you gonna spend eternity. Of eternity, eternity. Tell me where you gonna spend eternity.
I think we're about out of time now, so we're gonna go ahead and pack it in. But I was hoping, I was hoping that we could have got into a lot more of this. Looks like we're gonna be doing a whole lot of videos. I wanted to show you a sneak peek preview on one. You'll see here, Bishop and Pawns. This is Bishop against Knight. And the first one is connected pawns, isolated pawns, double pawns.
Nice.
And we'll try to cover that next time. I'll try to get here earlier so we can cover that. And also, you'll notice like when it's a rook against bishop and when it's a rook against knight. Notice the difference. When it's rook against knight, significant, because when it's rook against bishop,
religion does not work.
right there, one of the center files, bishop, knight, or rook files. Yeah, I need to zoom out on this. Put that anti-glare screen on there. We'll have to continue this on another video. We're just gonna have to put out a bunch of videos, crank out a lot of videos.
He was a theologian. He didn't know Jesus. He didn't know God.
Notice how this one's laid out. Bishops are the same color. Right here. One of the center files, bishop file, knight pawn, or rook pawn. But when you get to bishops of the opposite color, it's not set up like that. It's more like the connected pawns become significant. Pawns on the 6th rank, 5th rank, or 4th rank, or in between. Like right there. One pawn on the 5th and one pawn on the 4th. Or one on the 6th and one on the 5th.
He agreed without war. He believed Mother Nature was his spiritual source.
So you can see the endgame can be rather complicated. So we'll have to put that in another video and cover it. Sorry that we're out of time, but keep watching. We'll get through all this. We just got a lot of stuff we got to get through. gonna be a whole lot of videos, folks. A whole lot of videos.
When he lays his hands upon you, get a blessing you can't hardly bear. He gives you favor. In the morning, favor in your darkest night. This favor gives you power. Make it wrong.
There's about 7 terabytes or 7,000 gigabytes of data there. Yeah, we got 4 external hard drives. This is the Blue Yeti Pro mic. We've got this hooked on a Rode PSA Studio boom arm. Goes down to the table. And then this is the Blue Yeti Pro mic. We've got a shock mount right here. And then we've also got a pop filter so we can get better sound when we record some of the videos.
Angels camping all around me, protect me from the enemy. Ain't no kind of devil gonna overcome the one who's watching over me. Gives me favor.
Let's zoom in on that cookie. This is one of the best cookies. If you go to Salvage Yard, ask the nice lady behind the counter named Tammy. Ask her for the Reese cookie. Oh, it's only $1, but oh, it's the best. It's like heaven. Oh, it's delicious. Or there's this one, macadamia nut, and then they have chocolate chip and then some other. They have chips and all kinds of good stuff there. Yeah, come on down to the Salvage Yard. They have good snacks and good drinks. And as you can see, we've got chess informant for you, and we got chess base for you if you want to take your game to the next level. These are the Promethean clickers. I know it's kind of hard to see them unless you get them out here. Big carrying case. They're heavy too. Oh lordy, they're heavy. Oh yeah, they're heavy, very heavy. But that's our case of the Promethean Active Expressions 2 clickers. There are 32 of those in there. They call them learner response systems, audience response systems. I can't promise you when, but when I get time, we'll go ahead and go into the Promethean clickers. I know I promised we would go into them the next video, a couple videos back, but we always wind up getting something else. But I will try to fit those in sometime or do a separate video on them. Thanks for watching.